Barbara Teen Sports listeners. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen at KZSB AM 1290. We welcome you all to join us every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. right after the news. This is a whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes and all the people and all the wonderful businesses that support those athletes. That said, woo! Doctor. That's how many doctors we got in the house. We start off with Dr. D. How you doing, Dr. D?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, my goodness.
Trying on those elk antlers.
I know, huh? You like that?
That's cool.
I know. Well, you're going to be inducted into the Elks Hall of Fame, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the initiation.
Don't worry. I'm going to be there by your side.
Cool.
You Very and Dominique. Cool. Dominique and Dr. D, future Elks coming our way. I'm so excited. They're blessed. Yeah, they're blessed.
Great facility, too.
I know. We need to check out those bingo Thursday nights.
I know.
I'm serious. You'll know when I win.
Yes.
Do you
yes.
think?
I'll hear it up on the mountain when you win.
I'd say I'm going to be like, ooh, everybody. I'll share it, huh? Because I'm a sharer.
There you go.
It's nice. Thursday nights.
Thursday nights, a lot of fun, yeah.
They give away, it's like I don't even think you realize, and you've been in town for quite some time, exactly what the Elks do into the community. I mean,
it's incredible.
They do the veterans, they do disabled kids, they give out scholarships. I mean, it's a great place just to hang out.
Well, and the beautiful thing is that you and what you're doing with the website and people getting commercials in exchange for donating to their favorite charity or their favorite nonprofit, you're sort of like a mini Elks Lodge in terms of generating that kind of funding to the nonprofits. And that's the neat thing is it goes directly to the nonprofits.
It all goes there, but Dr. D, it's nothing without Dr. D. Put your hands together. He does all the promotion. He does all the production. He does it all his time. All right. So every once in a while, he wants to be fed. He just bread and water. That's all.
Just a little through the railing.
Audio magic.
Yeah, definitely the audio magic.
Well,
I like that. European Suntanning.com.
Oh my God, that was so fun.
I love that commercial.
That was so fun.
That's such a good commercial.
I told you about this when we were driving around. That when we went in to record, I had one concept, and it had been so long since I had played with the audio that when I finally sat down and started putting it all together, it came out totally different, but it worked really well.
I've always said from like almost 4 years now that the show really has a life.
It does.
So it's really, it's a community gifted program from KZSB AM 1290, and I am blessed to be a part of it. So got to thank Les Carroll. It's his his brainchild, and I'm just ecstatic to be a part of it. All right, give me a napkin. No, I'm just kidding. To your left, we have another one. She's in the fourth hole on the commercials. We have Dr. May Chandler. Put her hands together. Woo!
Good morning, everyone.
Did you notice my shoes? I got heels on.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Well.
And do you think I'm walking crooked?
No. I didn't think you were walking crooked. But you also have a long skirt on. I can barely really tell how you were walking.
I'm going to show you after the show. And I have the two boots. I still have it as a reminder to do my stretching. Okay, because we don't want to go back into those boots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
How about the braces? Did you get the braces?
I did have the brace, and then I left it at Kisibella, one of them, and it I guess it ended up in the laundry somewhere because at $100 I wasn't happy that I lost that brace.
Yeah. Think about when patients come and they have had custom orthotics made, and I had a patient the other day. So I went to take some shoes to the Salvation Army, and those $480 custom orthotics were in them. I'm like, well, I'm thinking you probably weren't really wearing those orthotics if you donated the shoes they were in to the Salvation Army to begin with.
I wonder if that was on the receipt. No. I didn't up that receipt. Oh, no. Fantastic.
Yeah,
you brought a guest today. Who did you bring?
I did.
In the quiet room?
Aimee Lopez.
She Lopez
is one of the artistic directors for the Santa Barbara Festival Ballet. I met her last year while we were both party women for the Nutcracker.
Nice.
Yes, it was very fun.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to start off with her first, but let's go around the room. We also have, and we're waiting for his pick and bio. I have people try to look you up on About Us, and they can't find you. That was what one of the guests said, Dr. Tiffany. She goes, well, I was trying to find Dr. Noble. I don't know why. Maybe she has a crush on you. But she has, she's coming up from L.A. You're married? I didn't even ask.
No, I'm not married.
You're not married? What? It could be a connection. This could be a whole nother show. This is fantastic. And she's not even here. This is wonderful. I'm so excited. Where's your pick and bio?
Forthcoming.
Is it?
Yes,
Well, we're so excited to
on
have
a cloud
you.
somewhere. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Noble, a new co-host. Come on now, give it to me.
All right.
Woo!
And I like his hairstyle.
I know, exactly. It's a matchy.
Yeah, just about.
It's a match.
Although he has a little 5 o'clock shadow around his side.
Oh, nice. All right, so anything going on this week you want to talk about? You want to talk about we did posture already. Anything else you want to throw out there? We got time?
Well, I'd like to throw out as a little segue off of posture into gravity.
Gravity.
Gravity is the only constant in a world of many changing things. That almost everything we experience, all our thoughts, everything is in a state of change. But gravity, if you go to the top of K2, your weight will change about 1/4 of a gram. So everywhere you are all the time, there's something that pulls us down. And everybody thinks, oh, this is kind of gravity and me are at odds with each other. And this is where posture can actually change our relationship with gravity in such a way that it helps us go up. The neat thing about gravity is that our connective tissue is a lot like an elastic band. And there's a lot of triangles in our body that stretch in a way that creates a potential energy straight up because we're being pulled down. And so if we're actually in symmetrical alignment and have good posture, there's a potential energy that's going straight up all the time, which is why we don't need to use our muscles as much when we have good posture. And that's got application to everything. And here we're sitting, there's a way to sit in balance. When we're moving or in athletics or doing anything in our lives, there's a way to find that symmetry and that balance in the middle where we're lighter. We literally don't have to use muscle energy to keep ourselves up.
Nice. I want to throw this back to Dr. May. So when you're treating his feet, right? That's the end of the bottom of the barrel.
They get a lot of gravity.
Exactly. They're just loaded with gravity. So when you're healing them, and whether it's through braces or surgery, do you go through? I'm sure do you send them to a chiropractor or a physical therapy, or do you teach them?
Right. I do send for a lot of physical therapy, and actually one of the physical therapists that I send to a lot, Mueller and Weber, they actually have a new anti-gravity system, which is pretty cool. The first time I saw one was up in San Francisco. And you can use that pretty early on, especially for a lot of my post-op patients that are non-weight bearing for 4 to 6 weeks. But, you don't want them to just be doing nothing because they're already, in casts or boots. But trying to kind of get them to range of motion, do things like that. So it's a really cool system where they can, have you heard of these? The anti-gravity treadmill type system.
No, I haven't.
It's amazing.
Really
and so, it kind of gets them moving and going sooner than they would without having a system like that. They just recently got it. Yeah.
We got to check that out.
The piece there that I really liked is range of motion and then getting the actual joints to articulate again, because that's how we get the proprioception up from our feet. And then that informs our brain of where we are in space, and then we can have the feedback loop to keep our posture right and, be centered in space.
Nice.
In my mind, I'm seeing a treadmill hanging from the ceiling.
I know. I can't. I don't have a visual on that either. All right, I want to throw the mic to our teen co-host, Hallie. How you doing, Hallie?
I'm great.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I know traffic was a little bad this morning, so you got here on time. Thank you.
I'm finally able to have my own car.
Nice. I'm liking it.
Right?
Hey, you brought a guest. Who'd you bring today?
I brought with me NJ Jiva.
NJ. Love it.
Do you want me to try to say her real name?
Yes.
Naranjana. But
yes, that's cool.
She'll say it when we get to her. She'll say it how it's actually
I'm going to save her for later on down the show. We've got one last co-host that I am proud to recognize, and that is my health coach, and I call her the CHO of Teen Sports Radio. She's the Chief Happiness Officer. Dominique, how you doing today?
Hey, Erica, I'm doing great.
All right, give us the happiness.
My happy thought for this week is I want to talk to you about habits and how we form good habits.
No. Let's not.
Dr. D, how much time do we have?
1 minute.
One more minute. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you really fast. Someone who sort of made habits famous, he was actually a plastic surgeon back in the 1950s, and his name was Maxwell Multz, something like that. Anyway, he noticed with his patients, when they would get a nose job done, it took about 21 days before they really felt like they had a different nose, even though they had already experienced the surgery. So he just noticed that it took time for the brain to start recognizing that there was a difference. And he wrote about this. He actually wrote a a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, something like that in the 60s, which people like Zig Ziglar and, Tony Robbins, really famous people picked up on it. But you've heard people talk about forming a habit that it takes, around 3 weeks or how much time does it really take? But I've been reading this great book called The Power of Habit. And if you go on the internet, you can go www.powerofhabit.com, and you can get actually information about how do you build really good habits. And part of having healthy posture, having healthy eating habits has to do with habits. And that's my happiness thought for this week is building good habits.
And you were close on the author. It's Maxwell Multz.
Thank you. That's it.
Ding, 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 ding.
I remember hearing about that book years ago. Yes. Wow. In the days of people like Zig Ziglar and so forth. Yeah.
Well, when I got my nose done, I knew in a week that it was because it was half the size. So I was my brain just recognized that. As soon as those Band-Aids came off, I'm like, yeah! I was so happy. I got hit in the face a lot. Okay, that's goalie is great, but you got to use the hands. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you miss, especially when it's windy out. You know what we're going to do? It's go time. Dr. D said go time about 2 minutes ago. We've got a great show for everybody.
Time.
It's go time. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show, and I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. And Hallie, where else are we?
We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at Teen Sports Radio.
Oh, dang, that was totally off.
We killed it.
I'm sorry. We're going to have to take a take two on that. What was that website again?
TeenSportsRadio.com. Good. That was better.
That was better. We're also being rebroadcasted. We've got a show going on Monday, Sunday, and Tuesday. Tuesday is 11 p.m. Sunday is 2 p.m. And Monday, I know for sure it was at 3 a.m. because I was in the refrigerator taking a bite of my health food coach spaghetti squash. It was delicious. There's something about 3 a.m. spaghetti squash.
Is that sarcasm or is that?
No, I really did. It was
okay.
fantastic.
Really?
And then, I just wanted to see if I was, not that I set the alarm to see if I was on at 3 o'clock in the morning, but when you hear, good morning, Santa Barbara Teen Sports at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's an out-of-body experience when you're chewing on spaghetti squash. All right. Let's go to Dr. Chandler. Who'd you bring today?
Well, my guest today is Miss Aimee Lopez. Miss Lopez is a current Associate Artistic Director of the Santa Barbara Festival Ballet. We met last year when we were both performing in the Nutcracker as party women in the party scene. She is a Santa Barbara native and was trained locally at the Santa Barbara Ballet Center under the instruction of Michelle Pearson and Denise Rinaldi. She was a soloist with the pre-professional company, the Santa Barbara Festival Ballet, for many years. And I would like to welcome her here today.
Woo! Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So, Aimee, what brought you into ballet? How did you get into ballet?
Actually, my mother was a dancer, and she studied at the same school that I started at back in the day. And so she took me to a creative dance class when I was 5, and I've been doing it ever since.
That sounds kind of like my history, except for my mom wasn't a dancer. She just put me in it when I was like 5.
Yeah, it's a good starting spot.
You kind of get habit to going to ballet. See, good habit.
I was a ballerina too. I went on toe when I was, I think, 12. When did you start on toe?
I think it was 12. I remember it was a painful experience.
I stubbed my toe when I was 12.
Not quite the same.
So this year at the Santa Barbara Festival Ballet, they're really celebrating a very important year. Can you tell us what's going on with this year?
We are having 2 milestones. Actually, it's our 50th anniversary of the school. It was started in 1964 out in Goleta with Robert and Carol Hanlon. 50 years. That's great. And then also, it's our 40th anniversary of our Nutcracker. Dr. Chandler will also be in the show again this year. So,
Representing.
You know it.
So it's an exciting year for us, for sure.
Yep. Very excited about that.
I actually have some daughters, and they attended ballet there for a couple of years too.
Oh, wow. Small town.
Yeah, it is.
I have a question. Was it hard to start? Is it called On Point? Is that what you call it? Was it hard to transition into that? Because it always looks so painful to me.
It really is. It's a really painful thing, especially when you first start, because your feet are you have baby feet and they're very tender. And so the more that you do it, they get toughened up after you go through some horrible blisters and things. So, my feet now are they're like Shrek feet. They can handle anything. But when you start out, it is really painful.
Okay.
We put lamb's wool in. We put different cotton
we do that for
things in.
basketball. I do that for basketball.
Yeah.
Are there any special exercises that you would do in ballet that you would think might be good for people building their arches or anything like that? Just for everyone.
Well, I mean, I know we definitely do a lot of stretching of our arches. There's all different kinds of contraptions you can use, and especially, some people are just born with better arches than other people. I mean, you can see that when they're walking, not just when they're on point. So you do definitely stretch them. You kind of strengthen them through ballet because, when you're doing ballet, you're in ballet slippers, which have absolutely no support. I mean, it's like being barefoot.
Right.
But you're doing a lot of demi-point, that kind of stuff, which builds them up to prepare for point. But nothing really, really prepares you just till you get on point. That prepares you in itself, I would say.
That's true. That's true. I think there are some exercises that I do give some of my younger dancers, though. Like there's an exercise where they take a towel that's rolled up and grip it with their toes, and that actually does build strength in the metatarsal.
Nice.
So things like that.
Ooh, nice metatarsal. See, my patients always say, "So how did you get into podiatry?" And as soon as I say, "Well, I used to be a ballet dancer," oh, click, feet and ballet goes hand in hand.
How old were you when you were part of your first production?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. I just remember the first thing I ever performed in was a recital, and I was a baby lion. So I had this little ruffly head thing and a little orange outfit, and I jumped through a hoop. So
nice.
Big time.
And when did you do your first Nutcracker?
Probably shortly thereafter. I've been in it for so long. So I was a little kid in the party scene, and then I've gone all through all the big stuff. And this year I'm actually dancing in it. I'll be the Arabian dancer, so it'll be pretty exciting.
That's a beautiful part.
Do you have any suggestions or things to tell kids who are just starting out on point or just starting out as dancers?
It's hard work, and a lot of them say that it hurts. I work with kids that are actually going on to point for the first time. It's their second year, actually, and they struggle. It's hard, and they say it's painful, but, you just stick with it. It's a beautiful art form, and I think part of it is there's the physicality, but you have to remind them that it is art, and so always talk about exposing them to, the stories that it tells and things like that. Keep them inspired.
So, I mean, these kids, they're amazing athletes, pretty much.
Oh, dancers are
Great
amazing athletes.
So, do you have if somebody, the community is so giving here in Santa Barbara, if somebody wanted to be, assist in the development of somebody who maybe is less fortunate and couldn't afford it, because I'm sure those lessons, it's expensive. It's not, I would think that to get the training that you need, it's an expensive little sport.
Yes. We do offer scholarships and things like that. So it's just a matter of giving us a call because we don't want to limit dance to only the people that can afford it. It needs to be something that everybody can have access to.
So do you have fundraisers? I mean, if somebody wanted to support, the Association Art of Santa Barbara Festival, I mean, if they wanted to support you, what would they have to do?
We do have a committee that's in charge of fundraising, and so you could contact them. You could call the studio and be directly in contact with them. We have Valerie Houston, who's through UCSB, and she does a lot of fundraising and outreach. So
nice. It's great. But let's take a break right now. We're going to get back to you again after break. All right, so stick around. This is Erica Salda. It's go time. Stay tuned for more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show, and I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday at 9 a.m. right after the news. And Hallie, where else are we?
Better not mess this up this time.
Don't tank it.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube at Teen Sports Radio.
Pretty bad.
Yours was the best one.
That was a fail again. That's all right, though.
Yeah.
All right. We've had an amazing show thus far, and I want to just give you guys an opportunity to give you a little shout out because we got the Nutcracker coming out, and you had mentioned during break that there's a way to support the Nutcracker. And Dr. Chandler, how can we do that?
You can go on SantaBarbaraNutcrackerBallet.com, the website.
All right.
And at the bottom there are different partner options that you can choose from.
Nice.
To help us put on a
Do
wonderful...
they have a Dr. Chandler option? Because, you're going to be in the Nutcracker.
No.
Woo!
That's true. That's true.
it.
There should be one, but no, there's not.
Just kidding. I'm kidding you.
But there is a picture of me on the website from last year.
Nice.
For sure. And I'm probably going to be wearing that same dress. Because Aimee said, does it need any alterations? And I'm like, I'm hoping not.
That is awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Honestly, Aimee, thank you. Aimee Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. All right, next in on the studio, what are we going to do? We are very blessed. We have a representative from the Rolling Pet Vet. We've got Dr. Tiffany. Hey, Dr. Tiffany, roll on up here. Woo! How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for driving up.
Thank you. It was a fun drive by the ocean.
Yeah, nice, huh?
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, great. All right, so you started up with Christine, a friend of mine, with the Rolling Pet Vet. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I have a background in, I've been a veterinarian for longer than I care to say. However, I evolved from standard Western medicine, and I really found a love and a passion for holistic medicine. So I drew that into my practice, and then I also have a specialty in birds and exotics. And so what I love about all of this is that you can bring it together, and it is very holistic. And the best part of it is when you're dealing with the animals in their own homes, there's such a reduction in stress, and there's such a good feeling between the client and the pet and the veterinarian. The animals barely recognize that I'm a doctor.
Fantastic.
So did you know that you wanted to do this from a young age?
I was 7 when I decided to be a vet.
I wish I knew what I was doing at 7.
I was playing with, my sister is a doctor. She's an oncologist, actually, and my aunt is a doctor. And I thought, there's enough people helping people in this family. Somebody needs to help the critters.
Well, I can attest to the ease on the animals because I've had you folks up to our place to take a look at all of our animals.
Right.
But there's also an added benefit that you haven't talked about yet, and that is the reduced stress on the owners of those pets.
Thank you for that question. That's perfect. I did want to expand on that because it's unbelievable how distressing it is for owners to see their pets in pain, whether it's pain from being ill or an injury or just pain from going in the car to the vet. Have you guys ever heard an adult cat taken to the vet? It's like, meow. I mean, this woman told me her cat thought it was, going to another world when it left its house. And they do not like to travel in cars. Even birds and dogs don't really enjoy it so much. The only thing I think is a little quieter are the snakes. They don't make too much noise, but anyway, when they get to the clinics, they tend to be nervous. They have the sounds and the smells of other animals that are scared or in pain. It's kind of like going to the hospital. And think about how much nicer it is to be in your own home, your own bed, or touch, your own things. And then when we come to the home and we're talking to the owners, they tend to relax. They tend to sit by their kitchen tables. They'll offer us cookies. No side benefits for us, of course. But yeah, it's really helpful for the owners. So,
well, I also know too that as soon as, for example, we a year and a half ago we had Rolling Pet Vet up to the place to neuter our male dog.
Yes,
and as soon as that was done, he was put into his crate. And the door closed, and he just was comfortable and quiet. And
right.
And I think the healing process takes hold much faster and is much better, too.
Right, because your nervous system, when it's not under stress, is allowed. We were just talking the doctor and I were just talking about the parasympathetic nervous system needing to kick in for healing, and that's the relaxation system. And that comes in when the animal is allowed to relax, and they're usually much more relaxed in their own environment. It was such a pleasure for me. I had a surgery a couple of weeks ago on a Great Dane, no less, who barely fit into our unit. But when we were done, he was able to step out into his own living room and lie with his daddy while he was waking up. It was beautiful.
Yeah, well, I've got a dog about that big that you're going to probably be seeing very soon.
Okay, I'm looking forward.
You said that you use more holistic approaches with animals.
Yes.
I love keeping the nervous system relaxed. Can you say more about some of the other holistic things that you bring?
Sure. Well, I began my foray with my own exposure to NAET, which is a balancing, and it's an allergy technique that's very holistic with acupuncture or acupressure. And so I actually became certified in that. And then after NAET, I learned a chiropractic technique in animals using activator and soft tissue, no cracking or twisting. And then I went on to learn acupuncture and herbs, and I've incorporated cold laser therapy. So I do all of those modalities in varying degrees, but my favorite is teaching the body to heal itself through functional nutrition. That is my favorite thing to do, helping people help their pets. And incidentally, Miss Health Coach, they actually get a lot of personal help along the way. So yeah.
That's great. I imagine your pets are healing actually faster than a lot of other animals. Have you been able to demonstrate anything like that, or?
Even post-surgically, they'll wake up quicker. They'll be a lot more relaxed. They're not activated and agitated, and they do heal faster. Just in general, even in internal conditions. And again, when we're managing them at home, we get to go through the owner's pantry and learn what foods to give the pet, and learn what they're really giving that they don't realize is going to delay healing, so that we actually change the structure of their whole recovery. Yeah,
that's great. And it seems like you've got a really holistic way of looking at the whole animal. What about like maybe even the psycho-emotional part of the animal and the relationship with the owners? Do you have anything to?
Well, this is my favorite part, and of course you opened the door to this world for me. I actually have a portion, and we have a portion of our business in which we help animals transition or cross over when they're ready, when they're coming to the end of their lives and they need help. And so when we have our older dogs or older cats and we're helping put them to sleep in the homes, A, it's much more peaceful and beautiful, and B, when I can, I'll bring an animal communicator. An animal communicator, she's actually a technician, and she's also someone who has done a beautiful job of bridging that communication between the pet and their owner. And so what she often helps to do is give calming messages, and also tell the owners that, their pet is actually really happy to see me. It seems so strange, but they're really relieved and ready, and they don't look at passing over or death as they look at it so much differently than we do. We have such a resistance to that. And when you really think about what the animal is, where they are, they're so much more intuitive, and they're so much more at peace with things that are, not of the physical world. So, yeah.
And that it leaves such a better environment when they go. I mean, one of the inherent things of having pets is that we're destined to outlive them. And in so many cases...
Not our birds and our tortoises.
Okay. Touche. But by and large, our house pets, and this is a relationship. It's one of the ways our whole culture actually gets to look at death more regularly, and to actually have some awareness around that process with our pets sets the stage for how we relate to each other.
That just speaks to one point I'd like to make very quickly, and that is that I noticed even for myself that helping people and pets with this transition and holding them through their bereavement and supporting them actually is teaching me to learn how to say goodbye. And I've had some human losses, and it actually helps you accept death and say goodbye in a more beautiful way when you do accept it that way. Yes.
That's great.
But it also helps the remaining pets. We've had 3 passings since we've lived here, and 2 of them were with the same dog who is still alive today. She has experienced the passing of her elder and a younger that she alphaed. And and she still went through, we noticed that she went through the grieving process, but it was a lot easier because it happened right there. She saw what happened. She saw the life go. So she knew, as opposed to an experience we had years ago where we took the animal to the vet to put them down, and the other dog just went crazy, like, where is the rest of my pack? What's going on here? They don't know what's happening.
And that's perfect, because that's a point that's really important. People wonder, oh, should my other animals be around? Will they be traumatized? And we advise them, absolutely. These animals not only need to say goodbye, they need to see where they went. And you made the perfect point. In fact, even this morning, I was helping a 17-year-old dog, and her friend, who was a 12-year-old shepherd, was, first of all, they thanked me. It was really sweet. The dogs both came up to me, but her friend watched the whole thing. She sniffed her, and then she walked her up to the truck where, we took her, and it was so beautiful. And it's just so important for the animals to have that option. Now, I will say that you need to allow the other animals to do whatever it is that's comfortable for them. There are some younger pets that sometimes will come up, be a little bit a part of it, and then they'll turn their back during the actual procedure, which is fine. You need to be accepting of whatever they choose. So.
Well, I don't have much experience because I've never had a pet ever in my whole entire life. But my dad,
not even a fish, nothing.
I mean, maybe a goldfish for like a day.
Those beta fishes, no, nothing.
Not that I can recall. But my dad has an African Congo gray bird, right? And he got that maybe like about 10 years ago. But these things last forever. And it makes
These things
huge
last forever.
it makes a huge mess, right? I mean, the biggest mess in the world, and I'm a clean freak. So my dad says, well, Lindsay May, this bird is yours when I die, and it's going to be in the will that you have to take care of this bird, or I'm leaving everything to the bird. And I think my dad trained it to only like him.
Well, African greys as a species actually bond typically to only one person in the household. Yeah. It's very classic, and of course it's nice when the person feels that great sense of flattery, but the truth of the matter is that you're right, and your dad is right, that this bird will have to typically be willed, and most of these larger species or tortoises, things like that, you have to think about that. But my recommendation, should I have one, is that maybe there's some mediation available here, because you don't want your bird going to someone who may not completely appreciate
exactly.
the beautiful species that it is. And I do, I share some of your sentiments as well as your dad's, because birds are one of the messiest pets you could possibly own. Mm-hmm. And even for me, who is not a clean freak, they're messy. So you do want to be prepared that they're like a 2-year-old child for the entire 70 years of their life.
This thing is like 10 years old.
70 years? She's sleeping and eat those like seeds on her. That's what I'd be doing. Listen, we got to take a break. This was great. Please stick around. We have a couple more segments I want you to stay, Dr. Tiffany. Rolling Pet Vet. This is Erica Salda. We will be back more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show, and I am your host, Erica Salda. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. Where else are we? Hallie!
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Teen Sports Radio.
Oh, finally, she opens up. That's because she's on toe. I don't even know what that means, but that's okay. I'm thinking like you're pointing. I don't know anything about ballet. That's just not where I roll. Hey, I got an announcement to make, and we got to shout out, put our hands together for Clifford and Mary, a.k.a. Dickie Hobson. I got a check here for $200 going to St. Raphael School. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. We're just an income engine, okay, for nonprofits. It's awesome. We are blessed to have Dr. Tiffany with the Rolling Pet Vet, if you just joined us. And Dr. Tiffany, you wanted to cover a few more topics before you have to leave. And I definitely want you to add and include all the services that you provide in Santa Barbara. Namely, you will allow a teen to come on board, and I've used that, and it's the greatest thing because of internship programs. There's a lot of kids that had your dream, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're not going to have an opportunity unless
No,
businesses like you step up. So thank you.
Yeah, we're welcoming. It was through my mentors. My sister was my first mentor. She's a doctor, and I was around 8, 9 when we went to UCLA together and helped her do some things in the laboratories. And I fell in love with medicine and healing, and in my own right, animals. But I love mentoring and helping young people and not discouraging them, because so many sometimes veterinarians will say, you don't want to get into this profession, but I love this profession. And it's got so many amazing options. And so, yes, you're welcome to join me for a ride along. And I promise I won't vaccinate you or check your teeth or anything. But
what's the contact information if you want to set it up with the owner, Christine?
So Rolling Pet Vet is actually, it's area code 805-350-1399. That's 805-350-1399. You can also go to rollingpetvet.com. That's rollingpetvet.com. Either way, you'll find all of our contact information there. Christine is our wonderful contact person whose vision has made this real. Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a tagline. I like that.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Dr. Chandler, you had a question?
Well, again,
let's start talking about that bird that you're trying to get rid of.
No, let's not talk about the bird anymore. I'm already visualizing it in my house, and we have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo, and that would not go over too well at all. It would just take the whole entire space over. It would. There would be no humans left in the condo.
Yeah, when you have a pet like that, the pet owns you. I agree.
So, Dr. Tiffany, what do you think is the biggest problem that, with pet health, in our contemporary world right now?
Well, there's a nice broad question. I like that. Actually, one of my favorites and one of the biggest problems we see is the problem of inflammation, which, by the way, does not discriminate between animals and people, folks. And inflammation is resulting in all sorts of our pets' degenerative diseases, including the increased number of cancers we're seeing, a huge upsurge in allergies, skin problems, ear problems, and of course, as a chiropractor, you may know that inflammatory disorders don't limit themselves to the skin. They go deep into the tissues, and they end up sometimes in our nervous system. Anxiety is linked directly to inflammation in many cases. And so I love addressing that with owners. It's really possible to head that off at the pass and to do proactive things to prevent that inflammatory problem.
That's great. What kind of things might you add to a pet's diet to help with inflammation?
How about what kind of things shall we take away from their diet? Because, as someone who's a student myself now at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, so again, using functional nutrition across the borders of animals and people, we want to start removing the items that are aggravating the condition. So the items in most of our animals are processed dry foods that include a lot of chicken meal, include a lot of grains. Animals, most of the time, our dogs and our cats really do not tolerate any sort of grains well. I know there's the current cutting edge stuff like quinoa and things like that, but the truth of the matter is your dogs and your cats don't need grain type of carbohydrates. They do need greens, and they do fare much better on even cooked and steamed greens, and also the foods that contain more moisture. If the animal's digestive system is good, and in Chinese medicine we look at the constitution of the animal as well, then we do suggest a quality raw food diet. There are many pre-made raw foods that are clean, that do not contain bacterial contaminants, and they're made with just the good healthy meats and vegetables. And a dog that might be allergic to chicken meal will not be allergic to natural organic chicken that's made by its owner or found in the high quality store sections.
That's so amazing that you're taking what you're learning from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and applying it not only to the animals, but you're also coaching us, human beings, to be healthy.
And that derived from my client standing behind the pet and saying, what can you do for me now, doctor?
Dr. Tiffany, we've got the close sign, but let me give you another opportunity to give your contact information one more time. Dr. Tiffany with the Rolling Pet Vet.
Thank you very much, Erica. So you can reach us at 805-350-1399. That's 805-350-1399 or rollingpetvet.com.
Thank you. Dr. Tiffany, put your hands together. Woo. Hey, we got to take a short break. This is Erica Salda. We will be back with more after these messages. and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show, and I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday
at 9 a.m. right after the news. I am jacked. So you brought a teammate with you.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Who did you bring?
I
Hallie.
brought with me Nurangena Jiva, or NJ.
NJ, put your hands together for NJ. Oh, she's all smiley.
I know.
She did so patient. I'm so sorry.
She's been in the
I
quiet
didn't
room.
know. I know. She's been in the quiet room forever. I didn't know that Hallie, she said she was going to bring a guest, and then I'm sorry, my phone died. And so everybody was here, and not that you got trumped by all these doctors, okay? But you look like you were having fun.
It was.
Okay?
It was really interesting listening to all
See?
those great conversations.
It's about learning. You know, that's what you got to learn.
I feel enlightened.
That's it. Too enlightened. I like. Is that a Brahmin thing, though? I'm just saying, no, nothing to do that. Okay, I don't get it.
I don't get the reference.
I don't get the. I don't either. Go ahead, explain it.
Oh, gosh. Okay. We were laughing about pets and about culture and so forth. And so we were talking about people who enjoy being around animals, and maybe there are some people who don't so much enjoy being around animals.
We know who that is. Okay. All right. Not even birds. I mean, what did the bird do to you? Really? Can you imagine? Nothing. Poor bird. You know you're going to end up with the bird, right?
It does whenever my dad puts it on my arm, which I don't like it. It will start crawling up the arm, usually towards my earrings. Then it wants to get my earrings. Then I can't get it off of me.
That kind of gives me chills.
It freaks me out.
Notice the it.
Well, that's sometimes how I refer to
it has a
babies,
name.
too, so.
What is its name?
Sterling.
Oh, May.
It's Sterling.
Is it Sterling?
Sterling.
She says it with like a snarl. She's like,
Is it all animals? I mean, baby seals, you know?
Yeah, just not
Okay.
into the animals.
Okay.
That's all right.
They're okay.
NJ.
They've never done anything to me, but you know.
Not
So
yet.
NJ plays basketball with me at Dos Pueblos, go DP.
Yeah.
And she's also on the Blazers, and she's in engineering with me.
Wow.
And she had a very exciting summer. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was very fun. It was really busy, actually. So in the beginning, it was a lot of basketball, just finishing summer league, playing a lot of games. And then I actually spent 6 weeks in Pittsburgh at Carnegie Mellon University.
Wow.
I took some classes there as part of a pre-college program that allows high school students to go and take like actual college classes with professors and other college students, as well as there were other like art programs and architecture programs, which I wasn't quite qualified to join. And then after that, I came back, and the very next day, my family and I actually went to India.
Wow.
Yes, I was actually born in India and moved to America when I was 5 years old. So I went back to visit all my family.
So how was that? So when was the last time you went back before you were came over here?
It was actually just winter break of 10th, 11th grade, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So before that, when was the last time you went to India?
About 2 years ago, a year and a half. We try to go as much as possible. Like we literally have no relatives in the U.S.
Right. Fantastic. Okay, so taking that, I mean, we hear about India, and, I know of a lot of people that can't wait, that's in their bucket list to go to India. Like, I don't have that on my bucket list, but that's okay. Because I'm German, and not like I would go to Germany, of course. So the kids that are in your family, what is the biggest difference that you can explain to the listeners here on Teen Sports Radio? I mean, I know the benefits are huge here, but let's talk about what's going on over there.
Well, right now, I think based on like my cousins and everything I've seen there, the biggest differences we face are probably the culture of education. Because in India, it's a huge part of just like moving forward and becoming more like better than your parents and such. Like my parents were the first in their family to go to college. They fought really hard to be able to make it into there. And that's what a lot of parents in India are like instilling on their children, is to just the huge importance of education. But while said, I'm not really sure if the education system there is the best one. It's a lot about just cramming for exams. There's huge exams in 10th grade and 12th grade that pretty much define where you end up going to college. They don't really look at applications like we have here. It's all based on your marks. And it's out of like 200, I think. And so to get into medicine, med school, or engineering school, they go directly into med school there, that you don't have to do undergrad. You need to get almost perfect, like 200 out of 200 on your exams. People who get like 197 don't even, or like 190 something, don't get into med school on a reduced price. They have to pay a lot more money
So
Is it a homeschool structure, or is it when do they start school? A typical Indian child.
They actually start like preschool at 2 years old. So I actually went to school in India for about a year and a half before I came, and almost everyone goes to private schools there, and they pay like tuition. Really, only like the poorer, more needier families send their children to government schools.
So your English is perfect. So when did you learn English?
I think I learned English when I moved here. I did not learn English in India. So.
And what area are you from? What area of India?
I'm from the south in a state called Tamil Nadu. We speak Tamil there.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Hey, NJ,
Yes.
you're going to shoot me, but I've got extra gifts for you because we had to cut you short. But I want you to in return, okay? Because I want to bring Namita, and you guys can have a whole segment just for yourself. 2 segments, all right? This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We are out of time. God bless. Stay tuned next week. Please tune in and join us next Tuesday at KZSB AM 1290 at 9:06 a.m. when we will go behind the scenes with the local students, athletes, coaches, parents, volunteers, and all other teen sports supporters. This is all brought to you by ePro Insurance Agency, leader in gift planning and wealth preservation since 1983. So please follow along and support our student athletes by reading the Santa Barbara News Press, and then join me, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, Dr. Dugan, my co-host, friends, teens, every week on the Santa Barbara News Press radio station.
You're the best.